Welcome. We are at part 8 of a continuing discussion of Paul's secondary missionary journey. These videos walk through Paul's secondary missionary journey, which occurred in Acts 15:36 through Acts 18:22. This provides historical and geographical context for Greek exegesis, for Acts, and for various letters of Paul. We'll start today in Acts 17:1 through 9, where Paul is reaching Thessalonica from Philippi. Notice that we'll start with the Greek and later. Please notice that there is a few towns before they reach Thessalonica. There's Amphilopen and Apollonion, as well as Thessalonica. Notice again we're seeing the singular form, either feminine singular accusative, or we're seeing the masculine accusative. So let's look at what that might be. They had traveled in English, it's called Amphipolis and Apollonia and Thessalonica. Now today in English they use a K instead of a C. We'll go from there. Let's start with the first. Now they traveled through Amphipolis and Apollonia, and they came to Thessalonica. Let's travel down the road through them. Notice from Philippi they went to Amphipolis, which is still there. And Amphipolis is about, Thessalonica is about 90 miles, but the Amphipolis is about 40 to 50 miles from Philippi. There are some still gymnasium that they can see ruins of there. It's called the capital of Southeast Macedonia because the Stryphon River flows around it. There is probably a military post here, as it's still a main road, and the military post keeps the road safe. If you go down the road a little bit further, you have Apollonia, which again you see Philippi up, Apollonia a little bit farther down. It's about 34 miles east of Thessalonica on the Via Echinacea. If you look at that, you'll see that it goes through some hilly areas. Now finally we get to Thessalonica. This is looking south from Thessalonica, and Mount Olympus is below that. That is the highest peaks in this area. It's about 34 miles from this back over to Apollonia. Now, south of Mount Olympus, there is also Berea. But to give you a good background on Thessalonica, we really need to give you some context on who the Macedonians were and why Thessalonica was so important. Now, in the 7000 to 3500 BC, before the Tigris-Euphrates civilizations really took firm hold, you had a Phrygian civilization with that ended with the Hares. This 800 to 878, this Hares was the first king, and from this line you had a Macedonian kingship. In 498 to 454, Alexander Philhelene expands this and becomes a Persian ally in the Greek-Persian Wars. You will remember some of this because during this time you had Thermopylae, which has been made famous by the modern movie. From there you had Perdiccas, who instigates between Athens and Sparta, resulting in the First Peloponnesian War. This war causes tremendous hardship in Macedonia and in the Achaea, which is the Greek province. Archaeus makes a great economic power from 413 to 339, and after him Philip subdues the Arians, the Thracians, and the Greeks. So if you remember Thermopylae, you remember the 300 movie, and that is Thermopylae here. You notice here is Omphalos in this place where I'll try to draw a line to. You will see Thessalonica is right there on the bay. You go past Bera and down through the mountains, you would come to Thermopylae, and perhaps that would be road. But this is the place the Persian Empire would have worked on it. Notice the interaction between that and the southern city-states of Sparta, Athens, and Thebes. Now, if you look at this in 422, you'll see Macedonia was a small area with Athens and its allies holding sway over all of the seaports and many of the rest. Athens had found silver mines, and so when Macedonia took over under Philippi for the silver lines, he's trying to obtain the money to raise war. Thessaly was below it, and you see Arcadia with various pieces. Thrace is above it. So here's where the culture was. As Macedonia goes forward in, as I mentioned, in instigating these wars, they're making their fellow people the Athenian city-states, the Peloponnesian Wars, the Sparta, Argo, less. So Macedonia, trying to grow its area, tries to create wars between Thebes and their ally and Athens, and to support the Persians. Notice the Illyrians are up here again. Let me draw the red line here to the other people they conquered, along with the Epirus, which is right here. So Macedonia had large focus. When Philip got the silver and the armies, he built a unique set of armies with long pikes. That was part of the benefit of what brought Alexander the Great, along with cavalry. If you look at Alexander the Great, he conquers Asia Minor, Persia, Syria, Palestine, Egypt. We remember the split of the generals, with Antigonus getting Macedonia and Greek after all the wars were over, Ptolemy getting Egypt, Secundus Nectar getting Asia Minor, Syria, and Persia. In Macedonia, the Antiochus Empire lasted from 300 to 146 BC, during which you had Antigonus number 2, Gontus running Macedonia, Greece, Philip 5 losing 2 Macedonia wars with Greece, as Polybus mentions in his history, and Perseus losing the 3rd Macedonia war, dying as a prisoner in Rome. This is also recorded in Polybus and Plutarch. So by the time you get through 146 BC, Rome did not like the fact that Macedonia fought against it or supported Carthage with it, and fights the First and Second Macedonian Wars, and finally it becomes a province of Rome. So by the time you settle Thessalonica, the people settled there are Romans. Now, here's again Antiochus's conquering of the Asia Minor, but he lost Cycladia. Eventually, Macedonia became a province. Thrace is not. It's under control, and you have Thessalonica ruled by 42 BC with 5 to 6 Plutarchs. So this type of change means the city is quite fragmented, meaning Thessalonica has probably got a Roman culture. Some of the people around may be Macedonians. Macedonia was broken up into 4 spots over time. One that might have Philippi, the second one which has Strobe, which is north of Thessalonica. Epirus would have been old and new, having cities in various parts. Verus Nu is number 3, and Epirus Nuva, which is new, is number 4. Notice the Delentium was probably the end of the Ignatian Way. So what does that look like in Thessalonica? Well, you have, again, your Roman archers in their forums and in their business area. And this is where you would have seen Paul come in. You notice there's also still today a Roman victory arch declaring that Rome is still the conquering part. So in this, it has still the same sense that if there is a concern from the citizens, Paul and Silas and Timothy were in great danger. However, in Thessalonica, Jason seems to be a man of wealth who helped the Roman leaders realize this was just a religious issue. But beating Jason would have been considered a way for the Jews to get back at Jason. Well, this ends part 8. We will go on to part 9 in the next video. Thank you.